What's the YouTube? Down here with Zephyr Wargames, bringing you, as you see, Fur Hire deck profile. Now, Fur Hire are one of the new art types that came out in Dark Savior set. These, just like the Sky Strikers, have their own short prints in the set, which kind of puts them out of budget range. However, the deck can be put in a bigger budget, in the sense that you can make all the extra deck cards a little bit cheaper, and you can make some of the main deck expense cards cheaper as well. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the full deck profile, show you what we've got, and you can check out the test hand video to see a bit more of how fur hides work. So, let's get started without any further ado. We play 3 Raphael Champion Fur Hire. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can show you all the cards. This is kind of the big boss monster. They're all different attributes and types. This is a dragon, 2800 beater, 22 defender. If this card is special summoned, you excavate the top card of your deck equal to the number of monster Fur Hire you control with different names, except himself. And if you do, add one of them to your hand. Also shuffle the rest back into your deck. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you discard 1 card, Fur Hire, negate the activation. You can only use each effect once per turn. So he's a nice little negator, searcher, and whole 9-yarder. Then we've got the short print, and that is Beat Bladesman Fur Hire. The warrior, so you're going to play Rhoda in the deck as well, because it's level 3. During your main phase, you special summon 1 monster Fur Hire from your hand, except itself. If a monster Fur Hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can add 1 monster Fur Hire from your deck to your hand, except itself. You can only use each effect once per turn, so again, it is your searcher and also special summoner. And because none of your Fur Hires have much restriction, you can get the big beaters out of your hand very, very easily. We've got triple Helmsman Fur Hire. During your main phase, you special summon 1 monster Fur Hire from your deck, from your hand, except itself. If a monster for Fur Hire is special summoned to the field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can discard 1 card Fur Hire and draw 1 card. Only use each effect once per turn. Nice 2k defender. And then, of course, you can combo this off with Bladesman. Bladesman can then get you a big beater on board, and you can link or XYZ with these guys here. We've then got triple Bravo Fighter Fur Hire. During the main phase, you can special summon 1 monster Fur Hire from your hand, except itself. If a monster Fur Hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during damage step, you can have all monster Fur Hire currently on the field gain 500 attack and defense until the end of this turn. So as you can see, they start to flood themselves on the board, which is why higher link monsters are a lot more accessible in this deck. We've then got 2 Wiz Sage Fur Hire. If this card is special summoned, you gain 500 life points for each monster Fur Hire you control with a different name, except itself. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card effect, discard 1 card Fur Hire, negate the activation. If you do, oh no, you just negate this activation. You can only use each effect once per turn, and that's a 2800 defender. We've got 2 Dinah Hero Fur Hire. If this card is special summoned, you can banish cards from the opponent's graveyard up to the number of monster Fur Hire you control with different names. You can only use this effect of Dinah Hero Fur Hire once per turn. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target monster Fur Hires you control for attacks, except this one. So it's a nice 2500 beater. We've got triple Seal Strategist Fur Hire. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster Fur Hire from your hand, except itself. If a Fur Hire monster is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, target 1 monster Fur Hire in your graveyard, add it to your hand. We've then got 1 Doper and 1 Recon, which are both obviously, they're pretty much identical. During your main phase, special summon 1 monster Fur Hire from your hand, except itself. If a monster Fur Hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during a damage step, you can target 1 face-up card on the field, destroy it. And then the other one is, again, during your main phase, special summon 1 Fur Hire from your hand, except itself. If a monster Fur Hire is special summoned to the field while you control this monster, except during damage step, you can target 1 set card on the field and destroy it. So, you know, it's a shame there's not a Fur Hire that's special from deck. Even if it is one of the beaters that, like, just, it makes it a bit more consistent. It means you've got to always have hand advantage, which is why you play such a heavy Fur Hire hand lineup. And finally, we've got Sangita Maverick Fur Hire. If this card is special summoned, you inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster Fur Hire you control with a different name, except itself. That will be very, very useful in the time games these days. You can only use this effect of Sangita once per turn. Your opponent cannot target monsters you control with card effects. Sorry, Fur Hires with card effects would be really cool. We've then got a hand trap lineup of triple Ash, double Ogre. If you want this to be more budget, of course, these can be Drolls, these can be Effect Veilers as well. So you do have the option to change that up. This just gives you a bit of a first turn protection. Now onto the spells. We've got triple Call by the Grave, because as you can imagine, your deck gets brutally stung by hand traps. Most of the hand traps can really hurt your deck, if not shut them down. So you want to be playing 3 Call by the Grave to stop that happening. You've got the 1 Upstart Goblin because you need that 1 card hand advantage, and then you've got the 1 Pot of Desires again because you want that hand advantage. You play a lot of multiples, so it's not always the end of the world of desiring. We've got the 1 Rhoda to search out your level 3 because that is probably one of your main cards you want in your hand, because that can help get your combos going. We've then got 2 Mayhem Furhire. I only pull 1 from my boxes, but it's basically a monster reborn for Furhire. You target Furhire in your graveyard, special summon it. In defense position, you can only use it once per turn. And then of course you've got the 1 Monster Reborn. Then for the traps, again, because budget isn't an issue, triple Impermanence. These can be any type of traps you want. There's no real reason to be playing this over Effect Vader, apart from the fact that it is an actual trap and it serves 2 abilities. So if you don't have these, Effect Vaders is just acceptable. And then finally we've got the 1 Training for Hire for all your training needs. For face up monster or monsters, for hires you control is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect. Target one of those monsters, special summon it from your deck, whose level is lower than the targeted Furhire in Grave's original level. Going to use the effect once per turn. So it's a good little card, but not amazing, which is why we only play it at 1. Now onto the extra deck. Extra deck is entirely open to you. It has the ability to flood the board, but because it floods with different levels, different attributes, link monsters are probably your best friend in this deck. However, you do play a multiple copies of level 3s and level 4s, which is why we go with 1 Breaksword for the level 3s, your Bagooska, Tornado, and then, you know, this card, Cowboy, who's now become back into the light because of these new time procedures. At the end of the day, if you have the ability to get 2 level 4 Furhires on board, and all you need to do is a little bit of damage and you can't get the level 5 on board, Cowboy will win you the game if time is called during the main phase or during any point of your turn. I highly doubt people are going to have DDD Dynamite set. For the link monsters, we've got the 1 On the Clock Taker, could easily be 2 On the Clock Takers if you want to, in place of the second proxy. We've then got the 1 Cerberus, the 1 Phoenix, the 1 Goblin, Unicorn, and then we do play the 1 Griffin, so we have the full Nightmare package. Now the issue with these is you do want your hand advantage, so if you're going into these you do have to have the ability to extend your plays at more of an extension than if you were to not discard off these cards. So it's entirely up to you if you want to play the Nightmare engine. If you don't, you can take that out for anything you want. You can play the Reaper engine in this deck very easily too. We've then got the 1 Trispania, of course, for the Draco matchup and the Altergeist matchup. We've got the 1 Decode Talker as an alternative. This could easily be Nightmare Mermaid if you wanted to play your Ibli in the deck as well. And then for your Link 4s, you've got your Borolo Dragon and your Saruja. Now, obviously, again, you could play Firewall if you wanted to. You can also play Topological Bomber Dragon again, just to make it even more powerful and useful. And again, I love the little combos with Cerberus that can protect the Topological Bomber Dragon, so you can keep co-linking stuff and it won't get nuked. So that's a very fun kind of little interaction there. Anyway, that is it for the Furhire deck profile. It has only just dropped, so I do need to play around with it a little bit more, but this has kind of worked quite nicely for me online. It has the ability to flood the board with monsters. It's just this consistency that it lacks a little bit of, and of course the ability to kind of keep up with the meta. So I would highly recommend not investing heavily in this deck. This is one of them decks that if you've got most of the extra deck stuff and you're like, whatever, I'll pick up the Furhires, they look a little bit of a fun. I'll pick them up quite cheap when the set's officially dropped, or the set's kind of moved further forward and all the prices and ratios have kind of sorted themselves out. Like I said, I personally don't think they're going to be meta right now, so it's just a fun deck. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always guys, happy dueling.
What's up YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, and of course don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round, so don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always guys, happy dueling.